Good evening. I want to thank God for delivering me from the fear of the dark. After the death of my mom, I had issues sleeping at night in the dark room. Before now, I had no problem sleeping in the dark, and I will pull the bed spray or wrapper over my head, and I was more comfortable when I faced the ceiling. My mom would usually go around the house checking if everything is okay before sleeping. She would come and remove the cover from my face, but as soon as she leaves, I had it right back up. That is how much I wasn't scared of the dark. If I had a scary dream, my mom's room was directly across mine, so I will run over to hers and spend the night. But things changed. After my mom passed, I got so scared. Within the first few months, I will leave the lights on and still demand a human presence. My auntie tried to keep up, but after a while she couldn't. So I will be up all night with the lights on, crying till the middle of the night or the early hours of the morning. I moved back to my mom's place to stay, and I was alone. I will put the light on all night and see a movie till I start hearing footsteps of people fetching water. Then I will sleep mostly around 3:30, 4 a.m. One day, as I cried, I finally slept off. Someone came in and took my phone. I woke up to no phone, and my back door was open. I think I left it open, and the nice thief didn't wake me up or rape me. Plus, he took a friend's power bank I had borrowed and dropped it in the kitchen area, like he changed his mind last minute. I became more scared. I told my relatives, but they were more concerned about my carelessness of not locking the door rather than my missing phone, or if I got raped. They neither felt the need to ask me to leave the house for a while, or so I had to sleep in the same house. I got scared and more scared. My imaginations would run wild. What if my mom was looking at me? What if she wanted to come to get me since I was crying a lot? What if? Then the fear of snakes. What if a snake comes in through the window? There was a time I sat in the room and I saw 2 snakes on the fence between my house and my neighbor's farm at different times, but in one day. You can tell it was not the same snake because they had different colors. I will often see really big snakes with multiple heads in my mind's eye when I try to close my eyes. Even after I came to God's lighthouse, I wouldn't miss a night with my lamp on. And on days where it was not charged, I would put on my phone light all night. One of those nights where I was scared, I felt the need to read my Bible, and as I picked it up, I was led to Isaiah 8, verse 12 to 14. I felt really loved when I saw this. I knew there and then that God saw all I was passing through, so He sent me this word to keep me calm. I took a pencil that night and wrote on the spot God's words to me. I had just given my life to Christ and I didn't know much, but He took out time to talk to me that night. It says, do not call everything a conspiracy like they do. Do not live in dread of what they are frightened of. Make the Lord of heaven's armies holy in your life. He is the one you should fear. He is the one who should make you tremble. I had before this in one of those nights called Brother Otobong, to ask him to pray for me that I couldn't sleep. He did, but I was still scared. After I got Isaiah 8, I slept that night because God spoke to me, but I still kept the night light on. One day, Pastor prayed at the end of the meeting. He rebuked the spirit of fear of the dark. I screamed amen with my eyes closed and my hands lifted. I knew God will overlook my cowardice and help me again. This time when I got home, I wanted to put on my lamp, but a thought came. If you put on the lights this night, it will take a while for you to sleep with the lights off ever. If you really want to test if Pastor's prayers has been answered, put off the lights and sleep. God will do His part. Now do yours. I was scared, but I put off the lights and opened my windows. This way, I had a beautiful view of the moon through my net, and the moonlight reflected into my room. Then one day, after a while, I put all my window blinds down and slept with the bed spray over my head, just the way I used to love it. I even slept with my cat, which I would not allow to sleep with me because it often hunts for warm places, especially when it was raining and it was scared. God has delivered me for real, and for this I am grateful. I want to also thank God for another thing. The other day, after Sister Marachi preached, I got home, and while moving about the house, I noticed a shared skin I thought it was a snake, like it belongs to a snake, like the tail part. I almost put aside everything Sister Marachi had preached and ran out of the house. Just that it was late and I had nowhere to go. Like she preached a message about how the devil makes mountains out of anthills in our minds, and we believe him against our professed faith in God's might. I could not believe this was preached that night, and here I was, scared to the bone, checking the whole house for things that were just in my head. I was up, I prayed, then it occurred to me, this is a test. Almost to trust God. It's easy to say people in the scriptures lacks trust in God. But that night, I learned not to be quick to talk anyhow. I just repented of this lack of faith that night in church. Yeah, I was doing it again, a glossolalia Christian like me. The scripture in Mark 16 verse 17 that says, "And this is the sign that will accompany those who believe me. In my name they will drive out demons. They will speak in tongues. They will pick up snakes with their hands. And when they drink deadly poisons, it will not hurt them. They will place their hands on the sick and they will get well." Other days I would have said yes, but this particular night I kept wondering, did Jesus mean what he said? Because I really want to believe that I can sleep even with a snake in this house. But I later settled for, well, what is the worst that can happen? To live is Christ and to die is gain. Or maybe I won't be affected by it. Or maybe it would be nice if I prayed that it would live on its own. The next morning, I was up early. I took what kept me up all night, almost all night. What would have kept me up all night to my neighbor. As he saw me approaching with a look of distress, he showed him what I had found. Without saying my reason for bringing it, he began laughing. He told his wife and she joined. They told me that it belonged to a wall gecko. I felt so stupid, like how did I get played like this? Is this what I did with my faith in God? I felt upset. I kept asking myself, did I pass or did I fail the test? I got my answer. I fought with fear. To fight with fear is better than not fighting at all. I made it through the night and I slept anyway. I also want to thank God for delivering me from fear of snakes in the toilet. There was a trending gist one time like that about a woman who went to the toilet and she got bitten by a snake in her own house and died. And later some guys came and they removed 2 black snakes from the toilet. Ever since then, I will flush the toilet before and after using. Then I'll often look inside just in case. I told my shepherd and she prayed for me. It took a while because I kept letting myself look and I still kept flushing before and after. And most times in between, I just kept flushing. I began making a conscious decision not to look. And over time, I became more carefree about the whole snake thing in the toilet. Although once in a while, out of old habits, I will still forget and flush before and after. I want to thank God for this. I want to thank God for this and many more that He has done for me in Jesus' name.